Hi, welcome to Raymond Castile's Basement of Horror. First, I want to apologize. I have a cold. I've been sick for the last couple of weeks, and so you might hear that in my voice or see it in my face. I'm not quite at my best, so sorry about that. I wanted to do this video today because I got this box in the mail, and I'm going to do my first ever unboxing video. It's not really my thing, and I wouldn't normally do it, but this is a special situation. I got this box in the mail today. It's a box of brand new monster toys. Not vintage, but newly made monster toys. Several of them. And that's a situation that's not likely to happen again. So this is a special occasion. In the box is a set of new Mego 8-inch monster figures. At least I hope that's what's in there. That's what's supposed to be in there. We might be surprised. I might open it up and a puppy comes out. I don't know. But it's supposed to be the new Mego monster figures. Now, I already have the Target monster toys, Mego monster toys from last fall. Here we have, here's Dracula and Werewolf. There's Frankenstein. So I bought those last year, and my Mego experience was not good. I really don't have a lot of positive things to say about the Mego relaunch in 2018. I thought everything about that relaunch was mishandled, from the character selection, which I thought was ridiculous, with the TV figures, oh gosh, Brady Bunch or Married with Children, Cheers. I thought those character selections were bizarre. I thought they looked like chintzy dime store knockoff figures for the most part. There were a few good ones, but most of them I thought really looked cheesy. But then you had a few great figures like this Dracula, which is a fantastic Bela Lugosi likeness. This is a really good figure. I wish they were all like this. They were not. The new Mego figures last fall were exclusive to Target stores. There was a Wave 1, a Wave 2, Wave 3, and the Wave 1 figures just stayed on the shelves forever. They're probably still there all these months later. They're probably still hanging there. And the Wave 2 and 3 that had Frankenstein and Werewolf that I wanted, I don't know if they only sent out a smattering of them to some stores or what, but you couldn't find them. But some people in some parts of the country had an easy time finding them, so there was something inconsistent about the way they were distributed, and you couldn't get them on the Target website, or they'd pop up for a few minutes and then they disappear. This is a mainstream commercial retail chain website. That's a weird way to run things. The promotion and the PR was also very badly handled. We were told that things were going to be in stores at a certain time, and they weren't. And there were people online who were supposed to be promoting Mego on the street level, and they ended up bashing people who had very legitimate, valid criticisms of the way everything was being handled. So the people who were supposed to be representing Mego, whether it was official or unofficial, there was some cultivation going on to try to get fans to help promote the launch of the new Mego figures. And some of those fans were obnoxious and treated people disrespectfully. I feel like just to pull a bunch of stuff out of a box and say, hey, Mego, is disingenuous unless I give this context that I'm coming from a bad place as far as the reintroduction of this brand is concerned. I don't like the way it was handled, and I think I'm speaking for many thousands of toy collectors out there that we had a bad experience. And if your customers are not happy, I think you need to listen to it. And perhaps Mego has listened, because the 2019 assortments are not Target exclusive, and a lot of things that were wrong with the previous figures, they seem to be on the right track, like these terrible cards. Whose idea was this? I guess it was Target, but these are horrible cards. I mean, they look like some kind of a convenience item that would be handed out on an airline. Like if you're flying Southwest or American Airlines, that some stewardess might come through the aisle and hand you complimentary soap or something, and it would be in a package that looks like that. And it'd be like soap or beauty item or cologne or something. Boring isn't the right word. It's banal isn't the right word. It's just, it's wrong. It's hitting the wrong note. This isn't the right way to present this kind of an item. But as you'll see, if indeed these toys are in this box, as they're supposed to be, you'll see that they've changed that. So they took some criticism for that, and I think deservedly so, and they've changed things. So the new figures don't look like this. And you can argue whether it's Mego's fault or Target's fault or whose fault is it, but the president of the company signs his name on the card. It says Marty Abrams right there. His signature is on the card, so I'm afraid that the buck has to stop with Marty Abrams. His name is on the package. So when you put your name on something, like I put my name on this YouTube series, I think the buck stops with you. But as I said, I think that they have taken steps to address some of this. And that's part of why I wanted to say all this, because now you know that there were some problems, and now we have the new assortment, and let's see if this new assortment addresses some of these concerns. Okay, so let's open this box. I bought this from Toy Wiz. So you could buy this entire assortment of Mego monsters from Toy Wiz, and that was the first one that was shared online when these were announced. The first retailer that anyone knew about that was going to sell the whole assortment was Toy Wiz. Now after that, some other retailers came on board, and if I'd waited, I don't know if I would have bought it from this company, but I didn't want to take any chances. I wanted to make sure I got them because the price was changing, and like 1 hour they were $12 and the next hour they were $15 each. It was something weird was going on with the prices, and I saw that the set was still the cheaper price that had originally been posted, so I wanted to get in there and get my order in before the price changed. So I ordered it from Toy Wiz a month or two ago, and now here it is. Well, inside the box we have another box. That's kind of a small box. Okay, now we have a smaller box. See right here we got a little dent there. So even with a box, even double boxed, it still has damage somehow. maybe I'll cut an artery with this X-Acto blade, and we'll have a really exciting episode of Basement of Horror. We'll have actual blood spurting on the monsters. All right, I see some toys in there. All right. So let's see here. The first one is Freddy Krueger. Well, my initial impression is pretty positive. I'm not taking these out of the card. You can see he's got the back of the card there. Now here's the front of the card, so a big improvement in the style of the card. Instead of that weird generic look that looked like something from like a men's cologne container. I don't know what that style was supposed to be. Here we have actual horror artwork. Now, it might have been nicer to have Freddy's face right here, or maybe like the furnace room where he lives, but it's got his claw. I mean, that's okay. And I like that it says horror right there. I mean, he looks cool. I mean, he looks, you know, like a Mego Freddy. And I don't think this is the first time. I know it's not the first time that Freddy has been made in the 8-inch format. Now, this is going to be kind of like Ahi and Ahai. The company spelled N-E-C-A. Everyone pronounces it NECA. And I don't know. Maybe that's the way it's pronounced. I don't know. I always think of it as Nika, because just NECA, it sounds weird. It sounds like naked or necking or something. It sounds kind of dirty. NECA. It sounds weird. NECA. But man, I don't know. Maybe that's the way it's pronounced. I have no idea. That's everyone pronounces it that way. NECA. Everyone that I've heard verbalize it says NECA. It sounds weird to me. If I were in charge, I would call it Nika, but I'm not in charge of the company. But NECA is that they've made a lot of modern horror toys over the years, and I know they've made at least one Freddy. I think they've made a few Freddy Krueger figures. I don't collect modern horror characters that much, like Freddy and Jason and Michael Myers. I'm not really that into that, so I don't have any of those toys. But I mean, I know they've made certainly one Freddy, if not several. How many, I don't know. His blades on his glove are kind of crooked. I don't know if that would straighten out over time when you take them out of the package, or if they're bent like that for good. But that makes his blades look kind of rubbery, like they wiggle around like tentacles almost. Well, so I'll leave it to other people on YouTube to take him out of the package and tell you about how his joints are well designed or not, or whether the hat stays on the head, or I'm wondering if the heads are squishy or hard. I like squishy heads, but these days everything has a hard head, so I'm kind of curious about that. All right. It's got a nice portrait of Freddy on the back. See, I'd kind of like something like this on the front. Maybe not a photograph, maybe a painting, but I feel like it should have Freddy on the front. Okay, so I'd say this is a win. I like this. I think it's a good figure. I'm pleased with that. All right, here's the one that's probably going to be my favorite. This is Nosferatu, Count Orlok. Count Orlok, I'm sure, is my favorite character in this box. They don't call him Count Orlok. It just says Nosferatu, which is the name of the movie, of course. But I mean, that's... So they did something kind of weird to the image of Orlok here. I mean, they've like photoshopped it a little bit and made him look kind of goofy. I wish they just used the movie still as it was, but they messed around with his face for some reason. I don't know. He's really cool. I mean, he's not the most screen accurate Orlok likeness in the world, but you know, he's good. I mean, Sideshow Toys, I think, did a better job of representing this character in an action figure format. But for an 8-inch figure that's aimed at the general public and priced pretty reasonable, I think these are retailing for like $15 or so. It's pretty good. And they chose to make him black and white, like what Sideshow would call silver screen, instead of in color. That was an interesting choice. I wonder if they're going to do a color one later. I wish his hands had claws. Like Orlok has those Talon-like pointy nails. They didn't do that. But you know, still, it's a pretty good figure, and it's a very respectable presentation of Count Orlok. And that's his castle in the movie. That's what it looks like. Okay, let's look at another one. This is Frankenstein. I'm trying not to bend these as I take them out. Well, I mean, he's very interesting. He almost looks like a juvenile delinquent Frankenstein, like Fonzie Frankenstein. So here's Frankie. Same sculpt as the one from last year, but this one's made in glow-in-the-dark plastic. The other one was green plastic. This one's glow-in-the-dark plastic. And they've painted some stitches and things on his face. They've redone the paint scheme. And thank goodness he has a black jacket, a black costume, like Frankenstein should have. He's missing the neck bolts, but that's okay, because it's not presenting itself as a faux universal Frankenstein. It's obviously a generic Frankenstein, whereas the other one had the Karloff picture and was kind of trying to make you think it was universal, but not really. This one's clearly an original take on Frankenstein, not trying to be universal, even though the head sculpt was based on the MC Frankenstein, which was a licensed universal Frankenstein, but it's maybe more information than you need. Now, this artwork, at least it's based on the Gray Morrow artwork for the original Mego Frankenstein from the 70s. And then here it is on the back again. And this figure does look kind of like that 70s Frank. You know, with the glow features and the black costume, it kind of harkens back to that 70s Frankenstein. So I like this. I mean, it's got official edition action figure. I don't know what official is. This is official edition action figure. I don't know how it's official, but well, he's got like a lab table behind him. He's got some blood coming out of his neck on the card art. So this is more like it. I like this card art. It's not generic. It's actual horror monster card art, and I like that it has the monster's face there. and it's decent looking artwork. It's not like altered like the Nosferatu one, where it kind of made it still look goofy, and it's not just the claw like or the glove hand like Freddy, but it's actually got the character and his face and everything, and it's serious looking, so I like that. Okay, let's look at another one. This is the second version of the Screaming Werewolf. Now, I like this toy. This looks really good. And I like the package art. I mean, the whole thing looks good. So here's the Screaming Werewolf, and he's got different clothing from the previous one. So here's the previous Screaming Werewolf. So his clothes are different. And since we compared those, let's go back to Frank. Just to be consistent, let's show the two Frankensteins. I mean, the difference here is obvious. I don't know that we really need to show this, but clearly there's a big difference there. So this werewolf, I really like the blue artwork and the blue shirt, and his paint is better. I think he's got, let me see here. I read somewhere that there was a difference in his teeth, but I don't really see that. I mean, maybe slightly, but it's not a big deal. He's got maybe his lower teeth painted in on the new one. It didn't have it on the old one. Not a big difference. But I like he's kind of balefully looking upward. He's cool. I like him. He's cute. And it's got the movie poster art. I like that. And they haven't messed with it. Pretty good art on the back, and that might have been good on the front as well. I like that. Some good horror poster artwork on the back. So here's Dracula. It's kind of hard to get these out without bending the toy. Maybe I should just let it fall out. Or maybe I will live to regret this idea. Let's see. Finally, okay. Here's Dracula. Where can I put him? Okay, well, the only difference, as far as I know, with this new Dracula is the cape lining. He's got a red-lined cape, which I think looks really good. Definitely more what you expect Dracula to look like. Even though the silver lining is more screen accurate with the original 1931 Dracula and the Broadway show that predated it. Let's get the previous Dracula out here. You can see the difference. And it's got Bela on the front. That's good. Nice picture of Bela. Although the image is from Mark of the Vampire, not any Dracula movie. So it's actually still a Bela from Mark of the Vampire, where he's not playing Dracula, he's playing a different vampire. There's the same image on the back. I mean, it looks like his facial paint is the same. The only difference I see right off the bat is the cape lining. I mean, there could be other, if I opened him up and looked at him more carefully, I could see other differences, but that's the only one that I can see right away. Okay, we got one more. This is the Invisible Man. And this is the weirdest one of the whole set. That is a weird figure. It actually has the head from the Al Bundy figure, from the Married with Children Al Bundy figure. They reused it for the Invisible Man. It's not Claude Rains or any other movie version of Invisible Man. It's a generic Invisible Man, presumably based on the H.G. Wells story. And let's see, it doesn't mention that anywhere. It has almost kind of a Tomlin-like appearance. I mean, it looks like it could be like a Tomlin second series figure. It's so bland and kind of thrown together. It could be like Famous Monsters of Legend, Invisible Man. He's an interesting figure. He's got a little. He's got what I presume is the solution that makes him invisible right here. That's a nice little accessory. The outfit is kind of basic. I mean, the only thing that really makes him a monster toy is the fact that he's molded in clear plastic. And this artwork is like something you'd expect on a custom figure. I'm not too crazy about this artwork, and it's the same artwork on the back. So this is, at the same time, it's like the weird one from the set, so that's kind of cool in that way. It's so odd, but it's also the cheesiest one. It's the one that seems the most like an afterthought, like it was just kind of thrown together. They used another figure, Al Bundy, and who knows, but this suit looks kind of thrown together. The tie is weird, and it's got a thick, goofy-looking tie, and the artwork is really basic. I mean, it's an odd choice. I guess they said, what other monster can we do? Looked at what they had and said, hey, we can mold this in clear and call it the Invisible Man. But compared to these other ones, it's clearly the runt of the litter. So that's it. That's the series. That is the 2019, I guess you'd call it the fourth wave, Mego monster series. They had 1, 2, 3 waves in 2018, and now this is the fourth wave in 2019. All in all, I think Mego did listen to some of the concerns of its customers and addressed them. We've got some redesigns that fixed some of the issues with the previous versions of these toys. It's a little more detail. Some paint applications that are a little bit different, and the cards are much better, much more interesting and professional looking, what you would expect a monster toy to look like in 2019. And they gave us some good variety, particularly like with the Nosferatu. I think that's the real treat of this lineup. I don't think anyone expected this. And they gave us classic and more modern characters like Freddy Krueger. And then there's the oddball one, like this Invisible Man, which is, I mean, it's kind of fun, but you know, it's obviously the least of these. But I mean, if they had come out with this originally, and they were actually available, you could buy them, I think a lot of people would have been happy, at least monster collectors. But the original versions, like Dracula, Wolfman, Frankenstein from last year, either you couldn't find them, even online, you couldn't buy them, and the cards were really bad. Dracula, the figure looked great. The card was, the werewolf. Some people didn't like that figure. I mean, I thought it was cute, but I think the opinion, I think most people are going to have a higher opinion of this. Just the subtle differences, like different paint, different colors. I mean, I think that matters. I think it's really improved that figure. And Frankenstein, I think they really salvaged a bad figure or lackluster figure. Salvaged it by making it glow in the dark and putting more goofy stitches on him. Just made it more fun. So, and made him give him a black costume, not a green one. So I would give this a thumbs up. I like these toys. I think it's I wish this is how they would have done it in the first place. And I still very critical of how things were done during the original rollout last year. But if they continue this way moving forward, I could see buying some more Mego figures if they're monsters or something I care about. I could see buying some more in the future. And we'll see what else they come up with. Maybe to go with Face of the Screaming Werewolf, maybe they'll have like Brainiac or El Santo or some other strange B-movie character. Maybe like a certain character from Brazil would be nice. Well, that's a long shot, but this is a long shot too. Well, I guess that's it. So this has been a kind of unusual episode of Basement of Horror, not what I usually do. I hope you liked it. I don't think we're going to have more like this. This was a special situation. But if another series of monster toys comes out where you can buy the whole set at one time like this, maybe we'll do it again. We'll see. But next week, or when I feel better, as I said, I have this cold, we'll get back to our regularly scheduled examination of mostly vintage monster toys from Raymond Castile's Basement of Horror. Bye-bye.